Kurt. Kurt is here. I knew you'd come. Frankie. You don't look so good. Of course it's you. Should have known. If I'm gonna be with somebody, I'm happy that it's you. Frank, whatever I've done, I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow decoders around the world, wherever you may be, both male and female, my name is Logan, and this is Decode Your Reality, and today we're going to be breaking down and decoding the Rooster. This will be Rooster Decoded. It's going to be a decoding short. I'm trying to fly through these slides. But as you saw in the beginning of this decode, a short clip from what I feel one of the best shows ever to come out on Netflix, if you're into this kind of stuff, The Punisher. And this scene right here was the ending of his nemesis, which used to be his friend, this being Billy, and he ended up becoming Jigsaw in the comics, but you have the Punisher, John Barenthal, and he ends up killing him at the end. And throughout the whole entire show, ladies and gentlemen, he's the vigilante, but he's a good guy. He is the guy who goes and takes out all the bad dudes. This is a good cop, bad cop show. And you're rooting for this guy because he's taking out the deadwood. He's taking out the bad dudes. Right? That's how, and this is how our reality works, ladies and gentlemen. And the song that they chose to play was The Rooster by Alice in Chains, which is with this song right here. Why the Rooster? Well, I'm going to blow your mind with this decode. I'm going to show you how we live in a predestined, scripted reality, and that you are being used, just like I am being used, as a character on the board, an actor, an actress. You can call it whatever you want, but I'm going to support that going through this decode again. So thanks for showing up, all the great decoders, supporting this great research. This is the song off of Alice in Chains' best album called Dirt, in my opinion, Rooster. And the song is about Jerry Cantrell, the guitarist who wrote the song. It's about his dad, and it's about all the damage that Vietnam caused his father, psychological scars, probably took out a lot of people, killed a lot of people, saw a lot of murders in the Vietnam War. So he's called the Rooster. And so they wrote a song about it. And then, of course, the great show Netflix plays it at the very end right here. And of course, their rep, John Barenthal, the Punisher, Frank Castle, is going to be the Rooster. Okay, and I'm going to show you how this all works in our reality here, because we live in a movie. You're inside of a movie, folks. I'm telling you, you're in a movie. I've been supporting this. It's coming out. We're in a movie. This is no exception. So this show came out. The first episode came out on November 17th. Now, why I'm showing Thomas John Ellis here, the great actor that they casted to play Lucifer, is because his birthday is on November 17th. And Lucifer has everything to do with this reality, the light bringer, because it brings light for the movie, the motion pictures. This is how, as fate would have it, the scripted reality that we live in. So I'm going to break this down here really quickly, astrologically, and I'm going to show you the two charts I have here are, I'm using Vedic sidereal astrology, and I'm going to break down the first episode of The Punisher and then Jonathan Edward Bernthal and his birthday. And you clearly see I've got it highlighted here. Where was Pluto? Now, what is Pluto? Pluto is the wrecking ball. Pluto is death. Pluto is the destroyer. And in the first episode, when it came out, Pluto was in the 20th nakshatra. Now, I know that these have different meanings, but I compare them to the tarot cards, and clearly it's the card of judgment. The 20 is the card of judgment. And then if we come over here to John Barenthal's astrological map, being born on September 20th, he was born on the 20th, judgment. His Pluto is in the 13th knock called Hasta. It's in Virgo. Virgo's the sixth sign. Sixth sign represents carbon. Okay? So he's incarnated to be an actor, yes. But then he's got his Pluto in the 13th nakshatra, and that's death. It's linked to death. So what we have here is we have a guy who incarnates as an actor, playing on the screen that's not real, but you get emotionally involved with it. And he's a character that incarnated as the judgment of death. That's what is the whole character is based upon. He's bringing judgment to people that deserve it in the show. Just like that, just off of astrology. And you can even get into the mighty Kronos, which runs all of time, being right next to the moon right there. In the sign of Cancer. Cancer, of course, takes a lot of people out with death. It's just so fascinating, and I could keep going on with this, but these are the big standouts. The Pluto and the Pluto in the release of The Punisher, and then Barenthal's birthday. How about that? The judgment of death. That's what he incarnated to be as one of the things. And it's clear right here that it's the astrological map says it all right there. And this is what we're looking at right here as well, is that this came out on the 17th, star card. And then he was born on the 20th, which is the 20th card, the judgment. So literally, this is saying John Barenthal, casted to play the Punisher, Frank Castle, is the star of judgment. The judgment, the star of death. That's what his job was in the Punisher, to take out the bad guys. So he's a movie star. He's born on the 20th, and he's delivering judgment on the screen. Just like that, folks. We live in a scripted reality, okay? People are not getting casted based off of what I'm showing you. That I can assure you. They're just not. And here's more, and this is a big one. I'm going to be showing this at the end. So this is Jonathan Edward Bernthal Marks. This is his full birth name, including his mother's maiden name, which is Marks. It's a 90. And what is the 90th element on the periodic table? Thorium. AKA Thor. And what is Thor? The god of war. The Scandinavian god of war. This guy in the show went to war with the bad guys. Okay? Thorium. This is quite possibly the biggest slide here of this entire decode. I mean, you can't, folks, this is the real deal here. This is our reality. We live in a scripted reality. All these layers, alchemy, numerology, tarot, they all combine. This is part of the code that's written behind the scenes of what it means to be a human being. This is absolute support here. I'm not going to say proof because you got to make the truth your own, but let's keep going. So let's get into the song that they chose to play for this scene right here in The Punisher at the end, taking out his nemesis, Jigsaw, Billy Russo. And so this song, Rooster, I'm going to start with the length of the song to show you how ridiculously scripted this band is, how ridiculously scripted, how they produced it, the whole 9 yards. 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Of course, 6 plus 15 is 21. 21 is going to link to the word Saturn. It's going to link to the word Zeus. It's going to link to the word enter, entering the game. Okay, the rooster enters the game. And so when we do the alchemy of the length of the song, as I have done so many times, you get carbon and phosphorus, 6 and 15. And what is this telling us? just using these layers. Phosphorus is Lucifer, the light bringer, tied to that, and carbon is what we are. This is light slowing down to become physical matter, to then be a character on the board, in this case, the rooster. All these people that go to war, this is about the Vietnam War, all the people that went there and took people out and watched people die and may have gotten killed. This is all part of the movie called Earth. It's not real to whatever's observing us, and it can come, whatever is observing us can come down in this reality anytime it wants and play out a character. Westworld did one of the best jobs of describing how that works. 1973, it came out. You're on television equals 73. It doesn't get any more blatant than that. But when you add these up through alchemy and you do the atomic masses, going to the trusty calculator, it's more of a telling story. 42.97. What is the big standout? 42. And then you get into Douglas Adams, his great book series, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The answer to life, universe, and everything, 42. It's light slowed down into physical matter. It's spirit into matter. That's lights, camera, action. You're inside of a movie set, folks. 42, the 42nd card in the Cards of Illumination, 3 of Spades. There's that 3. 3 means your brain. 3 is lithium. It means your brain. And then you link this to the tarot to get the picture, and it's the 3 of Swords. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to show you the alchemy of the 3 of Spades. It's the 42nd card in the deck. It's the 42nd element called molybdenum. This is very telling because molybdenum comes from the Greek word molybdos, which means lead. I showed this in my Lead to Gold many times over, how it's molybdenum all the way to the 79th element, gold. I showed it and broke it all down. This is what we become. We become lead. We become lead, folks. We become carbon-based. So this 42nd card, the 3 of Spades, turns into the 53rd card, which is the 3 of Swords. And this is a complete representation of what happens down here in this reality. There's a lot of killing. One day you're going to die, folks. Some of you may die of a heart attack. There's heartbreak. There's people duping people. There's people screwing people over. There's a lot of beautiful things too, trust me. But part of the game in this reality is about death and regeneration. That's why there's war, because there's a lot of energy expressed during wartime. Beyond whatever the whole meaning of war is, to conquer nations and do whatever they got to do, the supernatural runs this reality, not mankind. We're inside of a movie. This 53rd card is tied to the element iodine. And if you've been paying attention, this is one half of the I am that I am. 53 is tied to the word Yeshua, because we're all having the Jesus Christ superstar experience. Every single one of us. Okay? Everybody is playing the movie here. You're playing your part. The 53. Okay? It's pretty obvious just doing all this lineages here, just off of the length of the song. But let's keep going because there's more. How about the release date itself? February 22nd. That's the 53rd day of the year, matching this element iodine, matching this card right here, which matches this card right here, which matches the life, the universe, everything, which we go all the way back, and we go all the way back to the length of the song. So the length of the song, as you can see, through these layers, ends up meshing with the release date of the song itself. This is a 222, by the way, February 22nd, 222. 2 represents duality. The yin-yang, the black and white checkerboard floor. 22 is tied to titanium, the titans. And so many other layers to this. The Fool card as well in the tarot. Let's keep going. How about the actual album that the song Rooster came off of? This album was their best-selling album. Some say this was Alice in Chains' best album. It's called Dirt. And that's what we are, folks. You incarnate and you be, you go study theology, and what does it say in Genesis? That God created man from the dirt. Okay? We're dirt. We're from the earth. That's why when you die and you decay, you go back to the dirt. Well, the release date of this album was September 29th. And here's the card for September 29th. The 8 of Hearts. 8 representing the Taurus field. Now, here's the interesting part about this. The Eight of Hearts converts into the Eight of Cups. And there we get the picture. This is how valuable the tarot is, showing us the narration of this reality in so many ways. The Eight of Cups is all about, this card right here, is all about telling you the story of spirit saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to go play that game called life. That looks pretty fun. I'm going to go be part of that movie. Some people get paid to be actors and actresses. Majority of us, we don't. But you're an actor and actress. It's all theater down here. Life is but a stage. William Shakespeare said that. Rush says living in the limelight. There's so many layers to this reality that people have said where you're inside of a movie. Okay, that's what you're doing. This is a spirit leaving the spiritual realm to go on a quest and becoming a human, male or female. That's what this card means right here. Becoming dirt, spirit into matter. This card right here, by the way, is a Neptune Jupiter card. I have a feeling that Neptune, which is called the sea monster, which to me represents the number 9, is attached to the number 9. Neptune, known as the planet of dreams. I have a feeling Neptune kind of is where it all originates from. Poseidon's the god of water. That's the sea of space. That's outside of our reality, inside of our reality, et cetera, et cetera. But this card, 1000%, it does mean that spirit comes down and it leaves behind the spiritual realm to say, I'm going to go play that game. This is Westworld right here, folks. Right there in plain sight. And then when you say the word Eight of Cups, it's the 53, which goes right back to this iodine right here. You see? So this is spirit. The I am that I am. Yeshua's 53. It's the Jesus Christ saying, whatever you want to call it, spirit. It comes down and says, I'm going to go play that game called life. And it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I did a decode on this. Alice in Chains, one of my favorite ones, Down in the Hole. This is the whole story about where Alice in Wonderland chases the rabbit. The rabbit is representing time, which represents the moon. And the moon above the moon is Capricorn, which is Chronos, representing time. Alice starts with Al, a luminary body. And the Taurus field is right here in the hourglass. This is Days of Our Lives, soap operas. We are in the sands of time. We go down in a hole. This is spirit going down into the hole, into time, to become an avatar right here. This is what this whole thing means. And some of us become roosters. Killing machines, folks. Whether you're doing it on the screen and it's not real or you're doing it in real life, doesn't matter to what's observing us, because what's observing us is like us observing it through a screen. It's not real. And it's the I am that I am. It can do whatever it wants at any time. That's how this works. Folks, if you created this game called life, you'd come down and play it. I can assure you 100% of you would say, yeah, I'll go play my game. Of course you would. You make a video game, you're going to play it. You create a product, you're going to taste it, you're going to use it. Of course you will. Well, there's no different than the supernatural, folks. What about the length of the entire album? 57 minutes and 37 seconds. 57 is Truman Show. 37 is Eye in the Sky. 37 is Shepherd. 37 is tied to the sun and the moon. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the celestials coming down and becoming whatever it wants at any time. And it's all about energy exchange here. It's not real to whatever's observing us. That's why all these craziness is allowed down here in this reality. Okay? So getting into this rooster now. This is going to be right in your face now. I'm going to be raw and visceral to tell you. Some of you are not going to like what I'm about to tell you. But again, I'm not going to force anything on you. Some of your beliefs may get upended and you're not going to want to upend them based upon what I'm going to show you here. But that's going to be based upon what you want to believe. So this song called Rooster, which was this guy right here, which was John Barenthal in the show right here, the rooster, the killer, taking people out. Good cop, bad cop. It's a 30, which matches the word Demiurge, which is the Gnostic name for whatever runs this reality. Now, I know a lot of you say, oh, it's the devil running this reality. Oh, yeah, well, why don't you go read your scriptures? Because in Job 41, verses 11, it says clearly, God saying, everything under heaven is mine. Well, okay. See, the God of the Bible is a God of war, folks. Go read your scripture. Some of you don't want to read those parts. You just want to read the goody two-shoes stuff. Okay? The God of the Bible are the good, the bad, and the ugly, just like we are. The New Age name, 30. Santa Claus is 30. Santa Claus come down the chimney, that's coming down in a hole. And we become role players. You're being role played, folks. I've shown this time and time again here. You're being role played. Your mind is not your own. You're being used. 30. And then we go down to alchemy and it's zinc to get an extension. This is, to me, this is the comedy of the divine here, because there's comedy to this. Zinc being 16, you're in hell. It can be hell. See, the comedy in this zinc right here is when you go to the periodic table and you look at the element zinc, and they have this picture here, and what the picture says is it says that it's inspired by roofing materials. So you have the comedy of the roof coming down. What comes down the roof? Santa Claus. That's because Santa Claus is also 30. When I do it here, Santa Claus, 30. Santa Claus comes down the chimney and he comes down into hell, and now he's playing out the game of life, and now he's role played. Santa is the spirit of God incarnating into you. And if you don't believe me, go study Genesis 6 verses 3. Those of you that fancy that book, it says right in there, my spirit will not last forever in man. Not your spirit. This is the supernatural. It runs it all. It's a big Ponzi scheme. It owns all the religions. It owns everything here. Mankind's not in control of this reality, ladies and gentlemen. So going further to get more pictures, to get more layers of this rooster and war and death and regeneration and what is a big thing in this reality to keep it going because it needs energetic exchange, it's this Wounded Warrior card here. See, this album came out on the 22nd, and we can link it to the 22nd card in the Cards of Illumination, which is the 9 of Clubs. This card actually is the card of November 11th, otherwise known as 1111. So 11, and this is one of the Jesus Christ cards. So when you see 1111, it's the Wounded Warrior, folks. This is the Christ card because you are having the Jesus Christ experience. Some people get it really bad. Some people have it mediocre. Some people actually die in war. Some people have to go kill. They get post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, folks, it's all under this reality here. And this 9 of Clubs is the 9 of Wands. This is the 31st card in the deck. It's the Wounded Warrior. Tied to the rooster. This whole song was about war, folks. This card is the card of war. 31st, 3.1, pi. We live on pi. The perfect circle. And it leads me into the rooster, which is what this decode's all about. It's this element called gallium. Gallium. The picture that they chose to represent gallium is the rooster. Here it is, right here, just so you can be really crystal clear. There it is. Gallium, the rooster. It's all about France. Okay? You have to go all the way back to France, and there's hidden gems in there about France. But it's the rooster. Gallium. Okay? And this is the most abundant atomic mass of this element here. And I'm going to show you how big this is, tied to our reality. And it's going to go right back to these right here. Okay? See the rooster 30? Even though rooster's 30, and you can go back to the 8 of Wands, which is going to be, and that ties right to Kabbalah and Ensof, as I showed in my Kabbalah Decoded. Okay? It's all going to be about the rooster here. This is what this highlight is. And then you go into even, how about this group? Right here, right here. See, folks, the religion is one of the main reasons why we have wars. This is no exception, ladies and gentlemen, because if you're a fan of this, if you follow, and listen, I'm not going to say anything bad about it. There's good and there's a liability and asset and everything. There's good and bad in everything, folks. But if there was no such thing as religion, people would end up fighting about something else. People would end up picking favorites on something else. I don't need to belong to a group to be a good person, to help the world. Do you? I don't need to put my faith in, I'll save myself. No one's going to come save you, folks. You got to save yourself. Okay? This is all part, this is the Bible here now. And it's the rooster. And I'm going to show you, man, it's the Demiurge. I mean, this is all about the wars. I broke this down through my World War Decoded and showing how these dates, World War I, World War II, when you break them down through numerology, 68. 68. And perhaps the invasion of Ukraine maybe being World War III, 68. It's tied to the God, ladies and gentlemen, through the digits of pi, through mathematics, 68, 68. It's tied to the wars, folks. That's why when you go read the Old Testament, it's all about war, killing innocent kids, taking people out. No matter what the reasoning is, folks, there are people, if you were instructed to go kill people, as people were in the Old Testament, would you do it? I guarantee 99.9% of you would not do it. You wouldn't do it. But that's not what it says in that book. And that book is the most popular spell book in the world. How about this right here? The band Slipknot. I broke this down in my Gematria Decoded. The big highlight. This was the song off their album called All Hope Is Gone. This is the name of the song. Gematria, the killing name, 68. So you can see, ladies and gentlemen, tied to the wars. It's tied to Christianity and religion. It's tied to the song Rooster. It's tied to the Bible. How far down you want to go here, folks? So we get into this right here. So gallium is the big highlight, the rooster, right? Gallium comes from the word of, it's Gallia, which is France, from France. Well, Gallia is 12. And you can clearly see, getting the picture now, we go right into the tarot. See, this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. You incarnate as a hangman. Every single one of us. This is the card of Pisces. Pisces represents the two fish. We are fish. Two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl. Pink Floyd. The two fish represent your brain. They represent your 2 feet. Everybody has all 12 zodiac signs, by the way. So if somebody says, what's your sign? I'm all 12. Because you have a sign, you do have a house of Pisces. 12 is tied to carbon. 12 is tied to carbon and magnesium. Okay? But it's the hangman. This is what happens when you come down in this reality. You're the wounded warrior. This is what you're going to experience in this reality. Some worse than others. That's what this whole reality is, man. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And I can tell you right now, I have a massive decode coming out on the binary right here. This one is going to blow you away. I feel, ladies and gentlemen, at this stage of the game of my decoding, I feel that we live inside of a computer system. That's my final answer. We live inside of a binary computer system, and it's made to look real. Obviously, it is real when we say it's real, but behind the scenes is the zeros and the ones. That's what it's all about. It's coming from the zero. The zero is the portal to get in here. You become the one. The one is Neo. Okay, that's why he was Neo. One is an anagram for Neo. So this is going to be a big one, and it's tied to gallium and becoming the wounded warrior, coming down here and being a character. Whether you're on the screen or whether you're doing it in real life, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't matter. So bringing this into mathematics, part of the source code, more of it now, tied to this gallium, we get the Yod He Vahe, because when we bring in the 68 into the string of the golden ratio, part of the source code, these digits measure mathematics through nature, the spiral of nature, flowers and everything in nature it's measured through. Our brains. 68 is located at digit 25 and 26. 26 total digits. The numerology of the God of the Bible, Yod He Vahe, 26. It's the rooster. The rooster also can be representing Saturn, Chronos, time. What happens over time? People start killing people. People start arguing. People start debating. It golden age to dark age, it repeats. This total outcome, when you add it all up, 141, gets really interesting, because then you get into this element called praseodymium. Praseodymium means the twins. This is you and me, ladies and gentlemen. This is the sign of Gemini, and we all have Gemini. All of us have Gemini in us, because you're all 12 signs. Gemini is the third house. The third element is lithium. Lithium is what they give to people with brain disorders, and lithium is all about the brain. So this is affecting your brain, folks. This is the prison bars, by the way. That's what I feel. And you see that praseodymium is the 59th element, and it's the game of life. You're in the game of life. It's a movie. It's a game, ladies and gentlemen. It's called the light game, which otherwise is known as a movie. Okay? This is what this whole thing means. So when you bring this all together, and you take gallium and praseodymium together, obviously because they're connected through the golden ratio. Okay? They're connected to the golden ratio. We then add up the protons of these two elements, and we get the number 90. 31 plus 59 is 90. And do you remember what that 90 was? It's the god of war. Okay, so you incarnate into the game of life right here. You incarnate into the game of life as a human being, and now you're being used by the supernatural, and now you may even be used by war. This, folks, the God of the Bible has the beautiful side, and then it has a God of war side. Okay? Good cop, bad cop. Yin yang. The Old Testament is more of the war. The New Testament is more of the non-war. That is the binary. Okay? But this reality feeds off of death and regeneration. And remember this guy, I told you I'd show you this again. So this guy actually is an actor professionally. And his name is 90, which is thorium, the god of war, the Scandinavian god of war. So you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that this entire decode, the rooster can be tied to the supernatural. It can be tied to Saturn. It can be tied to all the celestials. You can bring it into Chinese. That's the 10th Chinese sign, which is going to be linked to the 10th house of Kronos, Capricorn. And you get it to Satan and the devil and all that stuff. The good cop, bad cop, folks. It's undeniable here with all this information. So what did you see? Would love to get your feedback. Keep your comments cordial. You don't have to agree with what I'm showing you here, but I got some pretty big stuff coming out on the world stage, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to blow you away, put so many things into perspective. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I've got some really gem decoding coming out. But I would love to hear what you saw during this presentation of Rooster Decoded. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That 68, that 31, big. Okay, big, big, big. Would love to hear what you saw. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan for Decode Reality. Until next time, we will see you later.